You never realize what you have until it's gone. I used to think that was a cliché, but now I understand it all too well. My name is Rachel, and for years I treated my husband, David, like a stranger I happened to live with, like a roommate I barely tolerated. It wasn't always this way. We met in college, both young, both full of dreams. We connected instantly, talking for hours about our hopes and our fears. We laughed together, cried together, and somewhere along the way, I fell in love with him. The first few years were bliss. We moved in together, got engaged, married, and, like any couple, we had our ups and downs. But I never thought it would come to this. Looking back, I can see where things started to go wrong. I had always been independent, and for a while, that was something David respected. But as the years went by, I began to pull away. I told myself it was just the pressures of life. Work, bills, responsibilities. I figured he'd understand. I thought, he knows me. He knows that I love him. But it wasn't love. It was a habit. It was routine. And somewhere along the way, I stopped caring. At first, David tried to fix things. He'd ask me how my day went, try to make dinner for us, or bring me flowers. He was the same sweet, caring guy he'd always been. But instead of appreciating it, I became annoyed. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to share. I felt like he was clinging to me, like I was being smothered. So, I shut him out, and it wasn't long before he stopped trying. I started treating him like a roommate, a man who just happened to be living in my house. The little things, like asking about his day or hugging him when he came home, stopped. The kisses became fleeting, and the I love yous felt hollow, even though they were still spoken. I stopped seeing him as my husband, and more like someone who just existed alongside me. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was suffocating him. The man who had once been my best friend, my confidant, was now an afterthought. And I told myself I was too busy, too tired, too caught up in my own world. But the truth was, I was running from him. I was scared. Scared of being too close. Scared of losing my independence. Scared that if I let him in, I'd lose myself. But he wasn't going to wait forever. One day, I came home from work, exhausted and indifferent, expecting the usual. But instead, I found David sitting on the couch with a look on his face I'd never seen before. He wasn't angry or upset. He wasn't even sad. He was just empty. "Rachel," he said softly, "I think we need to talk." I sat down, expecting the usual complaints, the usual talk about how I was distant. But what he said next made my heart stop. "I met someone," he said, his voice quiet but clear. For a moment I couldn't breathe. The words echoed in my head, but they didn't make sense. "What?" I asked, my voice almost a whisper. "I've been seeing someone else. I'm not in love with her, but she listens. She makes me feel wanted. She cares about me." And I realized something, Rachel. His eyes met mine, and for the first time in years, I saw pain. I haven't felt that from you in a long time. I froze. His words hit me like a freight train. I couldn't speak. My mind was racing, but nothing made sense. "David, no, I didn't mean..." "You didn't mean to treat me like this?" He interrupted, his voice almost empty. "You didn't mean to push me away every time I tried to get close? You didn't mean to make me feel like I was invisible in my own marriage?" The silence that followed was suffocating. It felt like the world around us was crashing down. I had nothing to say. I knew he was right. I had ignored him, neglected him, and now, someone else had shown him what he had been missing. "I'm not blaming you for what happened," he continued, his voice quieter now. "But I can't keep living like this. I deserve to be loved, to feel wanted, and I can't stay here with you anymore. I need something different." I didn't say anything after that. He packed his things, and by the time I even realized what was happening, he was gone. I kept telling myself it wasn't real, that he'd come back, that he was just angry. But as the days turned into weeks, and I saw him move on, I realized that the man I loved had finally walked away. And it was my fault. The worst part? He didn't even say goodbye. Not in the way I expected. He didn't shout. He didn't throw things. He didn't beg me to change. He just left. Quietly, without hesitation, and without looking back. I was the one who was left to pick up the pieces. I tried to distract myself with work, friends, anything to avoid facing the truth. But the truth was there, sitting in my empty apartment, staring back at me every day. I treated him like a roommate. I took him for granted, assumed he'd always be there, and now he was gone. And as I sit here, in the silence of my own home, I realize how much I've lost. Not just him, but myself. I lost the woman I used to be, the one who loved, the one who cared. I lost the ability to connect with the person I married, and in doing so, I lost the love that I once took for granted. I've learned that love isn't just about the good times. It's about the effort, the communication, and most of all, the respect. And without those things, love fades, it dies, and there's nothing left to hold on to. I wish I could go back and change things. I wish I could go back to the days when I loved him like I should have, but I can't. And now, all I have left is regret. If you're listening to this, please don't make the same mistake I did. Don't take the person who loves you for granted. Don't wait until it's too late to realize how much they mean to you. Because once they're gone, it's harder than you can ever imagine to get them back.